quadratic equations by factorising. Let's recap how to solve quadratic equations by factorising. Let's have a look at a few examples. The first example we will look at is x squared plus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, so one of the ways of solving a quadratic equation is by factorising. So let's factorise this. We are obviously going to have x and x because x times x will give us x squared. Now we need to make the plus 2 and the plus 3x. Okay, so we need two numbers that multiply together to make 2 and add to make 3. What are the two numbers that times to make 2 but add to make 3? Well, I can think of 2 times 1, and I know I can make the number 3 with 2 and 1. So plus 2 plus 1, so positive 2 plus 1 would give me 3 equals 0. Now what you say is either x plus 2 equals 0 or x plus 1 equals 0. Well, if x plus 2 equals 0, what's x? X would be minus 2. Or x would be, well, if x plus 1 is 0, what's x? X would be minus 1. Now, if you can't do that from the top of your head, you can do it by solving equations. So if you've got x plus 2 equals 0, well, I want to get rid of the plus 2 on this side. So what do I do to get rid of it? I subtract 2, do the opposite, don't I? I'm just left with x on this side because 2 take 2 is nothing. 0 take with 2 is minus 2. And you can see that you end up with the same answer that way. So it's entirely up to you. You can either solve it with using a equation method, or you can just do it from the top of your head. Now, these are your values. We've worked out what x is. X is minus 2 or x is minus 1. Okay, there are two answers for this. A little bit of a background recap of what this actually means. If I draw myself a set of axes, I've just worked out x. X is minus 1 and x is minus 2. Minus 1 is here, minus 2 is there. Yeah. And then if I draw myself a graph, that means that your quadratic graph will cross the x-axis at minus 1 and minus 2. Okay. Let's have a look at another example then. The other example we are going to look at is, let's do 3x squared plus 8x minus 3 equals 0. So we've done an example without a coefficient, and now we'll do an example with a coefficient. Remember, coefficient is the number in front of the x squared. So in this situation, it's the number 3. So you times the first number and the last number together. So this 3 here times it with the last number there. It's 3 times minus 3, which is minus 9. So I want two numbers that multiply together to make minus 9, but plus to make the middle number, which is positive 8. So what are the two numbers that would multiply to make minus 9 or add to make 8? Well, I know that I can make 9 from 1 times 9, and I know I can make 8 from 1 and 9. It will be 9 take away 1, won't it? So 9 take 1 would give me the 8, and when I times these two together, 9 times minus 1, I would get minus 9. So I do 3x squared, and then I just replace the middle one with these here in any order. I'm just going to do plus 9x, take 1x, and then minus 3. Okay. Now you split down the middle and factorize each side. So on this side here, I know that I can take out a 3 because 3 goes into 3 and 9. And they both have an x, so I can take out an x. And then it's x plus 3 in the middle because 3x times x would give me 3x squared, and 3x times 3 would give me 9x. Remember, whatever this bracket here is, you put here. Okay. And then what do I need to put at the front? So when I times this out, I get minus 1x minus 3. At the moment, I've just got x plus 3. So I'm going to times it by minus 1. Okay, and then you put the numbers on the outside together. So it's 3x minus 1 and x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, remember it's always equal to 0 when you are solving. Now it's 3x minus 1 equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. Well, this one's nice and straightforward. If x plus 3 is 0, what's x? X would be minus 3. Okay, this one here you can solve as an equation. So I'm just going to do that here. Okay, I'm just going to split this down the middle. The first thing I want to get rid of is a -1. So I'm going to add 1 on both sides. I'm left with 3x here because -1 add 1 is nothing. 0 add 1 is 1. Well, how do I get rid of the times by 3? Well, I divide by 3 on both sides. That cancels. I'm just left with x. So x is a third. So we're going to say x is a third, or x equals -3. And we've solved this quadratic equation. Now again, if I was to draw myself a set of axes, okay, I've got -3 here, haven't I? And then I've got a third. Now, what is a third as a decimal? A third is 0.3 recurring. So we're going to say 0.3 is about somewhere here, okay? And if I was to draw my quadratic graph, that means that my graph would cross the x-axis at -3 and at 0.3 recurring. Okay, so this is how we solve a quadratic equation by factorising. I hope that was useful and helpful to you. Thank you for watching.